Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we need to solve a 6-week-old mystery. Guys, for the last 6 weeks, walking by Tina's sewing room, I've heard an awful lot of belching and burping. So you guys hang on until after the break. We're going to get in there and find out what's going on. Hey guys, alright, for the last 6 weeks, like I was saying, there have been an awful lot of strange sounds coming from Tina's sewing room, and that is because we have had our 2 large German crocks in there fermenting sauerkraut. And as they outgas, the lid is sitting in a moat of water, and they outgas, they bubble. And that bubbling, how frequent and how aggressive it is, tells us where we are in the fermentation process. And knowing our crocks and how we ferment our sauerkraut, it takes about 6 weeks, and those 6 weeks are up. So they've been in there making strange sounds for a long time. It's time to get them out here. We'll drag them out in the kitchen. We're going to open them up, and the first thing we're going to do is find out if we've even got sauerkraut. So there's a chance that something can go wrong in the fermentation process. I know a lot of the new fermentation is done in mason jars and stuff where you can see what's happening, but this is the old school method of fermentation. And we can't see inside the crocks for 6 weeks, so we just are taking it on faith that we did everything right. We're going to open these crocks up. We'll see if we have sauerkraut, and then guys, we're going to take you through and show you how to can it. So first step's going to be to get out here into the kitchen. We'll get into this footage, and then I'll be back in a little bit. But let's take a look and see if we even made sauerkraut. Alright guys, it's been 6 weeks since we had the sauerkraut. We chopped up the cabbage and put it in the big crocks to make sauerkraut. You can see they're still sealed up. They got the water in the moats, but it's time to can this sauerkraut up. So we're gonna get the water out of the moats there. We're gonna unseal the jars, and we'll bring you back in just a second and show you how they did. Alright guys, we got these moats cleaned out, and we're gonna open them up for the first time, and we're gonna take a look. That looks pretty darn good. I don't see any scum. Got a few floaters here. I don't see any mold growing on the floaters, which is fine. Sometimes they will have a little bit of slime in them. You remove that slimy stuff off and just use your good sauerkraut beneath. But I don't see anything like that in this one. Let's hope we get lucky twice. We'll get Tina to...
Oh, that smell.
Yeah, the smell?
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to see if we get lucky twice here. Cross your fingers. Oh yeah. That's the way to do it, guys. But, wow, that just hit me like a ton of bricks. That is a really nice smell. But, I don't see any growth on the floaters or anything. I don't see any slime on the cabbage. So, guys, we're going to go ahead, and what we'll do is we'll pull these stones, the weighted stones, out of here, and we'll check out Tina's cool slippers. Oh yeah. But we'll pull the stones out of here, we'll get them washed, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do with this sauerkraut next. Alright guys, what I want to show you here is we're pulling the stones out. We'll take those over to the sink, and we'll let them get them clean, and then we'll probably bleach them a little bit. But underneath the stones, you're going to see the large cabbage leaves that we use to hold the sauerkraut down. You can see in that one too the big leaves that the stones were sitting on top of. And they take the brunt of any kind of bacteria or growth in there. But we're going to go ahead and remove those too. We'll get down to the sauerkraut. And then probably what we're going to do, it's not really convenient. We got to can the sauerkraut, so it's not convenient to bend over and try to work with the crocks that way. So what we're going to do is we'll get the big leaves out. We'll move the sauerkraut over into this tub, which we have washed and washed and washed, and that'll make it a little bit lower. We can move it up on the counter and start canning. But I'll bring you back when we get a little bit further along, and you can see what we're doing then. All right, guys. I just wanted to show you these cabbage leaves as they're coming off the big leaves. They're looking fine. Look at them out here in the light. They look fine. They're still green. So I don't see any growth or anything on there to tell us that there's any problem with the sauerkraut. So we're just going to move forward. We'll get it into this tub here where we can work with it, and then we'll start the canning process up. Alright guys, we got both crocks unloaded, and they're here in the tub. T, would you say how many gallons is this tub?
7 1/4.
7 1/4. So we got about 7 1/4. I don't know how many gallons of kraut that is, but that's a whole bunch of kraut. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this loaded up in jars. Now we package our kraut pretty salty, so we're probably just going to cold pack it, and we'll probably use tap water to dilute some of the salt going into the canning process. But we'll go ahead and get that started up. What we're going to do is we'll pack the jars with just the raw kraut, and then we'll come back and we'll put the tap water in to get them up to the right headspace, and we'll show you some of that when we get to it. Alright guys, what we're doing here is we've got our quart jars, and we're taking the sauerkraut out and we're packing them up to the big shoulder. Then I'll hand these off to Tina. Tina will take them up to a 1/2 inch headspace here by the ring, and then they'll go into the canner cold. We'll start the canner cold and we'll bring it all up to temperature all at once. But for right now, we're just going to pack the sauerkraut in here up to the big shoulder. Tina will take it on up to the ring with tap water, which isn't very much water, but take it on up to the ring. We'll put them in the canner, then we'll top off the canners. I'll bring you back when we get a little bit closer to that. Alright guys, we'll jump up here real quick. This is the last one going in the canner. But what Tina's done is she's brought it up to the right level with tap water. Now she's wiping the jar just like you would any other time. We'll put a lid and a ring on it. And we'll get them over here in the canners. We have both canners completely full now, and what we're going to do is we're going to put some nice warm tap water over the top of them, and then we'll start both canners. We'll get them up to boiling, and they boil for what, 30 minutes? Is that right, T? 30 minutes?
Yeah.
We'll boil them for 30 minutes, and we'll take them out, and they'll be done. We'll show you that, but we'll get these filled up, and we'll get them boiling, and we'll probably come back and talk to you a little bit. Alright guys. We got these all an inch above the top of the jars. We're going to got the burners back here up on high. We're going to try to bring both these canners up to temperature. And once they get to boiling, we're going to hold them there for 30 minutes. But I thought I'd bring you back, show you what 2 canners on the stove look like. Alright guys, the sauerkraut here is finished processing. So we've got it's about 11 o'clock at night. But it's finished processing. We took the lid off. It sat for 5 minutes, so we're going to start pulling them out. And we'll show you what they look like when they come out. Swing around here. Alright guys, that's going to be what they look like, but we'll bring you back when we get them. We'll get a few more of them out here, and we'll find out what our final yield's going to be, and we'll let you take a look at them then. Alright guys, that's about going to wrap it up. We got this last load out. We're waiting on a couple more of these to ping, but for the most part they're done. Back out here we got 19 quarts and 1 pint. So that's what came out of the 2 crocks. We had let them ferment for 6 weeks, and then we got them out and canned them up. To can them, we put them in for 30 minutes with 1/2 inch of headspace. Then you take the lid off and let them sit for another 5 minutes and then pull them out. But guys, that's our sauerkraut for the year. That's what we're going to have, and we're sure glad to have it. But we appreciate you watching, and we'll be right back to talk to you. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We hope that you enjoyed it. We had a pretty good yield on the sauerkraut, and we're glad that it turned out the way it did. It looks really good, and we're glad to have it. It's a little bit salty, so what'll happen is we've marked the jars, and we used plain water when we canned it instead of the brine that it was in. And then we've marked the jars to rinse the sauerkraut again before we cook it. So guys, that's all it takes. It'll be just like normal sauerkraut. It's not a big deal. Over salting is fairly common, and it's hard to gauge when we do it by hand. It's hard to gauge it. There's been some years that we under salted it and some years that we've over salted it. So eventually someday we'll figure out how to do it exactly right. But it doesn't matter guys, the sauerkraut is fantastic, and it is still better than anything you're going to buy in the store. So we're glad to have it. It'll make for some really good meals. We enjoy it with a pork roast, or with, you know, chunk potatoes and carrots, and just guys, it's a great way. We love it on brats. We eat it a million different ways, so it's a great thing to have around. It chances are it's not going to go bad in the jars even if we didn't seal them, but we wanted to show you how we can our sauerkraut, and that helps give it a little extra shelf life. The other day we ate some that was 2 years old. Not a problem. It still tastes like the day we canned it. So guys, if you like content like this, we hope you'll give it a thumbs up, and leave us a comment down below. Your thumbs up and comments tell YouTube to show our videos to more people. And guys, we really appreciate it when you take the effort to do that. That tells us we're doing something right, and it helps us reach other people, and maybe it'll help them out too. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, we hope you'll subscribe. Down there next to the subscribe button is a bell. If you'll ring that bell, that'll send you a notification whenever we release a new video. And guys, that's a great way to keep up with the channel. But we really appreciate having you guys here. Guys, the wish list is still active. We're going to put it down in the top comment below. We appreciate everybody that's given. We're putting together a big mail call, but if you can afford to give, and you've been blessed and you want to share that blessing, we really appreciate it. And if you haven't, guys, we still appreciate you guys just coming, watching the videos, and supporting the channel. That just means the world to us anyway. So don't worry about it. If you've been overly blessed, then we're glad to share it with you. But guys, if you can't give, don't worry about it. We don't. It's a wish list, not a need list. So guys, thanks for coming by the channel. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next one.